Hey everyone, welcome to this new course on the road to well-being. And these are small practical steps that will help you to happiness. And we want to take you on a journey, step by step, not just an impractical happiness kind of course, but we want to give you exercises and practical steps that you can actually take to become happier. And it's not just excitement and positive emotions. Of course, that's a big part of being happy. But we also want to include in this a life worth living, meaning all aspects of well being that will make life amazing and beautiful. And in just a second, I'm going to go through all the concepts that we will be going through in this course. But the idea is we want to have a life worth living and a life that's more than just the happiness in the sense of positive emotions. So stay tuned. And these are the questions that if you have, this course is going to deal with. And the first question is, how do we become happy? How do we become happy? Is there a way that I can become happy? Or is it just, I'm just born? Some people are just born happier and some people are just born more depressed. Is there a way that we become happier? Second question is, how do I increase my well-being? Is there a way that I can not just be happier, but I can be more fulfilled and have a life that is really good and really amazing? The third question is, how can I be fulfilled in my life? Not just how do I be happy, but is there a way that I can have fulfillment in my life? How do I live with my self-criticism? We all have this critic inside our heads. Is there different strategies or different ways that we can kind of either ignore that criticism or deal with that criticism and somehow live a life with that criticism? Is there any strategies that can help with that critic inside of us? What is the point of my life? Is there a way I can figure that one out? What are the steps I need to take to become happy? Is there any step-by-step strategies that I can do to become happier? How do I create positive feelings and get rid of the negative ones? That's something that everyone needs to know. Like, how do I create positive feelings? How do I get rid of these negative feelings? What makes us happy? A lot of things we think are going to make us happy, but don't truly make us happy. And in this course, we're going to be discussing what really makes us happy, not what we think is going to make us happy. And the science out there explains that a lot of things that we think make us happy don't actually make us happy. In the long run, we think certain things are going to make us happy, but then we find out we're not happy. The next thing is pleasure and pain. These are the motivating forces for doing anything. And once we get to understand that, it will really help us understand happiness. Positive emotions. I think that's obvious what that has to do with happiness, but is there ways that we can increase our positive emotions? And that's what we're going to be discussing in this course. The next thing that we're going to be discussing is fun activities. Fun activities make us happy, but to what extent? For how long? And if we just do fun activities, will that make us happy? And that's what this course is going to be discussing. Then we're going to go into growth and flow. Part of being happy, we need to grow in life. We need to be growing. And flow is the state where you completely become one with what you're doing. And we're going to get more into that in the course. Meaning. If you don't have meaning, you don't have a life of fulfillment, and you'll be always feeling that you're missing something in life. And you won't be fulfilled in life without any meaning in your life. Acceptance. Accepting yourself. If we don't accept ourselves, it can cause a lot of issues. And we're going to get into that, how acceptance is vital to happiness. And the more we accept ourselves, the more happier we will be. And the last thing is relationships. Relationships are vital to becoming happy. And we're going to be discussing later on how relationships is one of the top factors that can actually create happiness. And according to one study we're going to be going into, it actually creates the most happiness out of any of the categories we spoke about before. Okay, so what makes us happy? Is it being successful in life? If I'm beautiful, I'll be happy. Some people think if I'm skinny, if I'm famous, if I become famous, I'll be happy. If everyone loves me, I'll be happy. If I get rich, I'll be extremely happy. If I have so much money, I'll be happy. If I get attention from the world, or if I get certain things, I'll be extremely happy. And the thing about all these things is it does make us happy in the moment. We see ourselves in certain ways and like, oh, I'm famous, and you get happy, but after a while it just goes away. And it doesn't actually create happiness in the long run. Maybe for the moment it will create the happiness, but in the long run, we see that a lot of celebrities and a lot of rich people are not happy. And that's a proof that these things in itself cannot make us happy. Maybe right when you win the lottery, you get extremely happy, but in the long run, you're not happy. So, of course, if you have money, you see that there are rich people that are happy, but money in itself can't make us happy. And we're getting later into the course in what actually creates us happiness then. But these things in itself won't create happiness. What are the motivators that cause us to do the things that we do? I mean, think about it. Why do you do anything? It's either because it gives us pleasure or to avoid pain, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't do anything in life because it's the emotions that cause us to do the things in life. I'm saying, why do we want food? Because of the pleasure that it gives us. Why do we want shelter? Why do we want a house? Because there's a certain pleasure in having a house. Why do we sleep? Because it feels good and we need it. It gives us pleasure. Or pain if we don't have sleep, right? Why do we go on vacation? Because it's fun. It gives us pleasure. Why do we want a car? Why do we want a house? It's all because of the good feeling. So the reason why we want anything is because of the feeling, right? Because it feels good. Or we do things because we're trying to avoid pain. You're scared of rejection. So you run away from rejection. Maybe you don't go out with a girl because you're scared that you're going to get rejected by the girl. Fear of not being worthy. You might not, you might get scared of going to a certain party because you think you're not worthy and you're not one of the cool guys to be able to go to that party because maybe that party is only for the cool guys. Fear of success. Running away from a beer. Why do you run away from a beer? Because of the fear of pain. Listen to music in order to distract yourself because you don't want the pain, so you listen to music. Drink alcohol, smoke drugs. I think that's obvious, right? We know these things because that's why we do things, so we understand exactly what's going on over here, why we do things. These are the motivators for why we do anything. Why do we procrastinate? Why do we act lazy? Because we think that taking action is more painful than doing nothing. Because if I have to take action, it's going to be painful. So again, these are examples of pain and pleasure. This is an example of pain. It's more painful to take action, and it's more pleasurable to stay here. Let's say you go on a diet, and you starve yourself until you eat again, right? You starve yourself until you eat again, meaning you see the pain and pleasure of losing weight, the pain of having weight, the pleasure of feeling skinny and feeling that energy. But you starve yourself and you have too much pain and then you eat again, right? We have this pain in a certain way is a bigger motivator than pleasure. And when you see that chocolate right in front of you, you're not running away from that. You just you eat one chocolate and then another chocolate or some good burger or whatever your food is. Because in the moment, what is more real? In the moment, the food in front of you is more real. Even though you want to lose weight and know that the pain and pleasure that you're going to have, if you eat this, even though you do have that pain and pleasure, but it's not now, it's in the future. So right now, what's more real? It's the food in front of you. And it's the pain of not being able to have that food. So I'm not really getting into this. This course is not into how to go on a diet, but the idea of the way to really deal with this is really through contemplating and really sitting down and like thinking, maybe go to the mirror and just like rip open your shirt and just look at that fat like, oh, you sure I want this? And think about what your doctors say and search up what happens if you're fat and what type of energy you want and really getting it real. See, whatever is more real, whatever pain and pleasure is more real, that's the pain and pleasure that you're going to be motivated by. So all I'm trying to say is pain and pleasure is the motivators, but the ones that are more real are the ones that actually motivate you. Another example of pain and pleasure is relationships. You know, beginning of your relationship, it's amazing, it's terrific, things are just going amazing. And one day something happens, you know, usually a relationship starts all good. And then there's like one day that something happens and you get into a fight, and till one day it gets really, really bad and the relationship does not look like pleasure. And it's very painful, and that ends up ending off the relationship. Now, you get married again and it starts getting good. But last time, when you had a good relationship, what happened? It turned into a divorce. So now, when you're having a good relationship and it's getting good, like the first one, you start sabotaging, like, oh no, I remember last time it was getting good, it turned out terrible. So you don't want that. And therefore, you start acting stupid in order not to have a good relationship anymore. And the reason why you do that is because you're conditioned to think that a good feeling in a relationship, when you had a good relationship, it's going to lead to a divorce. So therefore, when you're having a good time in the second marriage, you start acting stupid and you make the relationship bad. So pain and pleasure can be conditioned. You can actually condition yourself, and that's what we're going to try to do in this course. We want to condition ourselves to be happy, and we want to condition ourselves to have pleasure and not to have pain. Now we're going to get into positive emotions. There's many positive emotions, and there's a lot of positive emotions, and we're going to get into a certain bunch that I put on the board for you. And that's step number one, to create positive emotions in your life. Because if you want to create more positive emotions in your life, you got to first name them. You got to first know the positive emotions. And once you know them, then we can build on it. So let's really go into the positive emotions. So the first one is joy. Joy is a feeling of great pleasure, like celebrating a birthday, you know, like going skiing. That's joy. Snowboarding, having a party, you know, that's all joy. The next positive emotion is gratitude. Gratitude is being grateful or thankful. It's realizing, like, wow, imagine a friend gave you something, they gave you a present. That's gratitude. Like, wow, that's amazing. Or gratitude to the one above for giving you a life. Gratitude for the amazing day that you had. Gratitude is a sense of being grateful and thankful to others, to God, to the world. The next positive emotion is serenity. Serenity is a feeling of calm and peace. It's that feeling of when you some people feel that when they meditate. When they meditate, they just feel that calmness and serenity. They just feel at peace. Or when some people go home, they feel at peace. Or some people in the shower, they feel peaceful. Or some people actually feel peaceful in nature. When they go out into nature or in a beautiful field with flowers and just that calmness and that peace. Um, the next one is pride. Now, I don't mean pride in a bad way. I mean pride in a way that you feel that you accomplished something. You know, like you feel good about something that you did. Imagine you created something. Imagine you helped someone and you're happy the fact that you did that. Like, you know, I'm happy I did that. Or you're happy on who you are. If you belong to a certain religion and you're happy that you belong to that religion, you know, you're proud of who you are. You're proud to be human. Or if you're religious, you're proud to be God, you're chosen by God. The next one is hope. Hope is it's a positive anticipation. Hope is you're hoping for good things to happen in the future. But I think my belief is that faith is even better than hope, because hope is like, I don't know, it can be a little bit of uncertainty. But faith is, I'm certain that things are going to work out well. Whether in a religious way, that you believe that God is going to only do things for the good, or even if you believe that things are just going to be good because, you know, life is good. Faith that things are going to turn out for the best. And faith is an amazing emotion, especially from a spiritual point of view. If you have faith that God is going to only do good things for you, or even the bad things in life are somehow going to turn out good, or in truth are really good, can create a positive feeling. And that can be very helpful in stressful situations, or even in good situations that things are going to turn out even better. Interest. Interest is a feeling of curiosity. Like when you're learning something, especially people that love learning, interest is a very intense feeling. And interest is when we're curious about things, like things about the world. We're curious about our family and friends. Like we want to know things about them. We want to know, not, I'm not necessarily talking in a bad way, but I mean like in a good way. Like we want to know our spouse. We want to know how our family is doing, or we want to learn. And that's a positive emotion. Amusement. That's like when you're having a fun time and people are saying jokes and um, you find things fun. Funny, I mean, not fun, funny. And, people that have a good sense of humor really, or if you're in the presence of someone that has a good sense of humor, amusement is a feeling that you get from that. Inspiration is a positive emotion. It's that emotion when you get uplifted and you're motivated by something you witnessed. Like you look at a beautiful sunrise, or when someone did something really heroic. To continue with the positive emotions, the next one's awe. And that was a little bit, it's more than just inspiration, it's a sense of wonder, like, wow. In a spiritual point of view, God's amazing. Or in nature, the world is terrific. Wow, look at that beautiful view. Or look at that amazing act of courage that person did. The next one is love. I don't need to explain that. The feeling of love, between people, between strangers, between family, between friends. And the last one is courage, the ability to do something that frightens someone. Courage takes a lot of courage. It's a positive emotion because you want to do things even in the face of danger or psychological danger or moral danger. And you're willing to do what you think is right. So let's get straight to the point. Okay, so we discussed all the positive emotions, maybe not all of them, but we gathered a certain amount of positive emotions. But what does that have to, like, how do I integrate that into my life? So let's let's take it one step at a time. So let's do an exercise for this. Choose one feeling, whichever feeling you feel like is the best feeling, meaning the one that relates to you the most. Create a poster, okay, with notes and maybe like small paragraphs or pictures of that emotion. Like that can be like it can be joy, like different pictures of joy or gratitude, like different pictures of the times that you felt grateful and someone was nice to you, or interest. You can, or awe, pictures of awe experiences or interest. I skipped that for a second. Interest, things that were really cool, and hang it up on your wall and put different pictures or different notes. And once a week, maybe add a note or add a picture to that on your wall. And once a day, just look at that picture and take like a half a minute to just absorb that feeling. And that can actually create a better day, because you start your day, you prime your day with positive emotions, can actually change your day. So it's really important to choose a feeling and to create pictures, notes, letters, whatever it is, and to really hang it up on the wall. And that's one way that you can take positive emotions and increase it into your life. A lot of things are fun in the moment. Like going on a ride, going skiing, swing, listening to some great music, playing video games, going on the beach, having a huge house. And all these things give us good feeling. But it's only fun in the moment. Meaning, in the moment that you have it, it makes us fun. But in the long run, do these things make us happy? So what can actually create happiness in the long run? But as I said before, right, we can have these fun moments and it can be great. I'm not trying to put them down. I think they're amazing. Have fun activities and have fun moments and have fun experiences. But if you just have that, you won't be happy. And if you just have that in your life, those moments in your life, not only is just those moments, but also it won't create long-lasting happiness. At a certain point, you're going to feel like you need to do something more in your life. Instant gratification, won't make you happy, but growth will. If you keep on growing and becoming better in your life, and progress is the secret to happiness. If you're constantly growing and having progress, you'll be happy. And of course, we want to grow in things that we enjoy growing in. I'm saying that's the best. Imagine if we can grow, imagine we can have passion in what we grow. I'm saying not always are we going to have extreme excitement in what we're doing, but we should try to have it as much as we can and do everything we can to create that passion within our growth, within growing in life. One of the ways to really enjoy the growing process is by going in a state of flow. Because if you're growing in a way that you completely lose sense of time and you just lose yourself in what you're doing, that's one of the greatest ways to really become happy. Because when you lose yourself, those times that you're completely engrossed in the flow can really create a happiness that's not experienced elsewhere. And that is, first you need to have clear sets of goals and progress, because I told you growth is critical to happiness. And having little goals provide instant feedback. Because if you just have goals and you don't see yourself accomplishing things and you don't see yourself growing, then you can't enter this flow state. You got to know that you're succeeding and you're having progress. You need clear and immediate feedback. Long-term feedback and short-term feedback. You need to know that you're on the short term, that your small goals, your small steps to your goals are being accomplished, and also your long goals are being accomplished. And the last idea is you need to have a balance between easy and hard. Because if it's too easy, then it's boring. If the task is too hard, then you have anxiety. So it needs to be the bridge between anxiety and boredom. And we're going to go more into flow and how to enter flow. This is the general break of how to enter flow, but we're going to get more into that in certain techniques that we can do that we can enter this flow state. But this is the general idea that we need to grow and we need to have flow in order to be happy. An exercise that you can do that can help you apply this to your life. Find something in your life that you are passionate about and follow the 3 rules to enter flow, the 3 steps to flow. And that is your exercise for this part of the course. You could have positive emotions. You could have fun activities. You could grow and constantly get better and have progress in your life and enter this flow state that you're completely one with what you're doing and just lose yourself in the task and enjoy the process as much as you can. But if you don't have meaning, you won't be fulfilled in life. Not only will you not be fulfilled in life, but for some people, you can even lead to depression if you don't have meaning in life. Because this is something so important that we all need. It's a need that we have. We need to have meaning. Meaning is living for something more than yourself. And this is where the most happiness will come about out of anything we spoke about before. Contributing beyond yourself. Another example of it would be marriage. Just get married. There's so much responsibility in getting married. And there's meaning in that. In raising a family, having kids. Relationship with a higher power, religion. You live for a higher purpose. Acts of kindness. A job that helps others. A psychologist, teacher, helping your community, charity. All these things are living for something beyond yourself. And meaning is one of the greatest determining factors to be happy. And not just happy, but fulfilled. It's a fulfilling life, a life worth living. But also happiness, you won't be happy without meaning. An exercise that can really help you with this is ask yourself, what is my purpose in life? What is my purpose in life? And that can help you with creating meaning. What can I do that can help my surroundings? Now, best right now is to take a pen and paper and to really think and pause the video if that's a need. Start with one small thing. Be practical. One small thing that you can do today. What can you do today? Later on, we're going to be discussing goals and how to create goals that can help you with this process. But that's later on in the course. But try right now. Start with one small thing that you can do today. Pause the video if this will take time for you. You can have everything we spoke about before and have meaning. But if you don't accept yourself, it's going to be terrible because you won't have positive emotions actually. It'll be very hard to do things in life because you're very critical of yourself and you don't think you're good enough. You don't love yourself. And loving yourself is really naturally, and if it's not cultivated when you're young, then that can cause you to not love yourself when you grow up. You're a soul, you're invaluable. And when you're a kid, as I just said before, and you're not unconditionally loved, then that can really mess up the way you live your life. If you're critical of yourself, that can really mess up the way you live your life because you're not living. You're not living. You don't love yourself. It's very hard to live. And it's very hard to love. You know, sometimes our parents get angry and take away love, and that can teach us that we're not worthy and we're not good enough. So we're going to get really into this concept of acceptance, and we're going to discuss different exercises that can really help you to accept yourself. One way to help exercise acceptance is record yourself for 2 minutes how special you are and how special you are to your creator who created you with a mission that you can only accomplish. And of course, you're automatically going to write the things that are good about you. But I also want you to write about, I'm saying you can write that too, but what I really want you to write about is I want you to write about that I just love myself. I just love myself because I'm me. And you're a soul. You're invaluable. And you're just special. So, and if you're religious and you're spiritual, then what can help you is God gave me a soul, and I'm just invaluable. And I'm just special. And the next idea is relationships. Relationships is if not the biggest factor to create happiness. Because it really, a good relationship can have all the ideas we spoke about before, except for acceptance, because acceptance is very crucial to have a normal relationship. But if you have a relationship, you have positive emotions, you could have a lot of fun activities, you'll have a lot of meaning and a lot of growth. So that's why relationships are so vital. And just relationships just make us happy just because that's how we were created. You know, there was a study about 724 men for 75 years, a huge study. And they took and asked different people, you know, what's going to make you happy in the future? You know, some people said, I'm going to become rich, I'm going to become happy, I'm going to become famous, I'll be happy. And one group was from Harvard and one group was from troubled families. And guess what was the determining factor for becoming happy? The good relationships keeps us happy. And there's many different types of relationships that we can have. Intimate, family, friends, community, the quality matters. The greater your relationship is, the greater the relationship was, the great relationships were the relationships that were the happiest. So we see from here how having a good relationship can really create happiness. Work on your relationships. Do one small action to increase the quality of your relationship. Read a book on marriage or create a new one. Go on a date. Find healthy friends. Do any of these things. Increase the quality of your relationship. Maybe get a new one if you don't have one. But what you really want to do is you want to create deep, meaningful relationships. That is, as we just said before, according to one study, is the biggest determining factor to be happy. This is an overview of what we're going to be discussing in the course. And in the course, we're going to get more into depth of what actually creates positive emotions, what actually will make you happy, what won't make you happy. This is just a complete overview. It's just a topping on the ice cream. And we're going to get more into depth and what actually makes you happy. And we're going to get into more strategies and techniques that we can actually apply this to our life. So I'll see you in the course.